Hi, I'm Mike Roarty and I work as a coach, and my company, People, Potential and Performance, trains and supervises coaches in a number of organisations. Now, when I think about the very first time that I was coached, I didn't know what to expect. So if you've been offered the opportunity to have coaching in your organisation, you may be unsure about whether to take it. You may not be clear on what exactly is coaching and what to expect from a coach. So to help you make that decision, we've provided a short video clip of a coaching session. The coaching session lasts 23 minutes, so quite a short one, but definitely long enough to give you a clear understanding of what coaching isn't. It's not about the coach telling you what to do. And also it gives you a clear understanding of what coaching is. It's a conversation where you're supported to find your own answers, your own insights, and your own best way forward with any particular goal, project, or challenge that you're facing in your work. It's also about your learning, and it's also about your enjoyment. So, I hope you enjoy the coaching session that you're about to see, where I coach Kathy on clearing her backlog of work. Hi Kathy.
Hi Mike.
So how would you like to use your coaching session? What is it you'd like to talk about?
Well, I'd love to take the opportunity today to talk to you about a little bit maybe about prioritisation, but really it's about clearing all the stuff that I've got to do. I've sort of got a 2-week window where I'd really like to get on top of my long list of things that need to be done. So it'd be great to chat about how I can do that, really, what I can do to perhaps overcome that, and maybe in the future as well, you know, use what I come up with to help me manage backlogs in the future.
Okay, so if I'm hearing you right, so it's about how to get the backlog that's there at the moment done in the next couple of weeks, and maybe thinking about the future beyond that.
Yeah, yeah, right. Yeah.
And if we talk about that, what in particular would you want to get from our discussion? You know, it's a fairly short discussion.
Yeah,
what would you like to get?
I would really like to feel, because I can picture this backlog at the moment, and I'd like to feel full of motivation. You know, I'd like to feel that I go away with some energy and motivation and determination. Because it's all very well to say, yes, I need to do it, but I'd really like to feel motivated to do it.
So you'll know this coaching session's been good if that's the case, that you're full of energy, motivation and determination.
Yeah, and I run into my office to start working on it.
Great. So let's see how we do.
Okay.
So supposing this session's successful and you achieve your goal about the backlog in the next couple of weeks and after, etc., etc., how will you know you've succeeded?
Well, I won't have a backlog. So in a couple of weeks' time, and we're sort of particularly leading into a festive season right now, you know, then I will be able to go into that period knowing I haven't got things that are outstanding, that everything that is up to date. And it's not, and not only will current projects will be up to date, but there will be administration tasks which are typically the things that end up in the backlog because they're not urgent, they haven't got a deadline. So I'll be up to date with those as well. And just the general sort of bits of cluttery, admin, paperwork, everything will be sorted out. So I will really know that it's worked if I have quite a clear, tidy office, so that yeah, it's a nice space to work. And also it's not. I don't like the thought of having nothing on my to-do list, but it's not overwhelming. You know, it's a sensible to-do list.
Okay, so not overwhelming, but not nothing. Sort of, what would that mean? Sort of
a few things that are on the to-do list that are as I would be expecting to be doing. You know, just a realistic amount of pieces of work on the to-do list.
Okay, what's realistic? Is that 2 or 3 or 10 or 20 or?
I think up to 6.
Up to 6. Okay.
6 main things that can be worked on, and knowing I have the time allocated to work on those as well.
Okay, so thanks for that. A really clear description. So you'll know you've succeeded if in 2 weeks the backlog's gone. In particular, you mentioned the admin tasks haven't been done, and once again you'll be able to measure that from a point of view of your office being tidy. And in terms of your to-do list, up to about 6 things on there to be going on with feels about the right amount to you. Great, so a really clear description. What will this do for you?
Well, it will make me feel much more energised in a way, because just thinking about all the things that need doing can be quite draining.
Right.
So I think I'll feel more energised and a bit lighter, a bit more clear-headed, a bit more able to enjoy a lot of the activities as we come into Christmas around that, rather than feeling a bit dogged down by or held, you know, a bit heavy about thinking about all the things I might have to do. And it will also, I think having cleared space is a good thing, you know, so particularly as I go into the new year, it will be a nice clear slate, ready to start with all the projects that I know are coming in next year.
Great. So if you get this, if you succeed in the way you want to, you'd feel energised, you'd be able to enjoy Christmas more because you'd sort of cleared the decks, as it were. And then when you get into January, you'll have a clear slate that'll help you get on with whatever January brings.
Yes. I just will be able to tackle the new things with more of a clear mind.
Great.
And also, I will be more in control of my admin. I've already had a little bit of coaching actually, and I have made a commitment to do all my admin on a Monday morning and keep up to date that way. So that will be integrated into that as well.
Okay. Well, I'm interested in what you've just said, because that's what I was about to ask you about in a minute or so. Is if we had a scale of 1 to 10, 10 is what you've described to me. The 2 week backlog's gone. You're up to date with your admin. The office is tidy. Up to about 6 things on your to-do list. That's 10. And 1 is the lowest you've been with this. Where would you put yourself?
I think about a 6.
About a 6.
Maybe 6 to 7. Let's call it a 6.
Okay. And the lowest you've been?
Oh, 3 to 4.
3 to 4. And how long ago was that?
Maybe about 2 months ago.
So 2 months. Okay, so in the last 2 months there's been a positive improvement or change or whatever. And I know you told me a minute ago there about the Mondays, etc. But so that might be one of the things. But what has helped you get from 3 or 4 up to 6?
Well, one of the big things was completing my masters, so that meant that I handed in my work, my dissertation, and I've had a lot more time. So time has helped. Also, I have been focusing as a result of that, knowing that I could not prioritise administration and prioritise less urgent things like that over the last 6 months, say. So that hence a backlog has built up. And what I've done then is prioritise doing maybe certain pieces of admin, or saying to myself a certain piece of work needs to be done today, when maybe it doesn't necessarily. Sometimes I've set myself a deadline. I've just decided that something is a priority for today, and that needs to be done. I've also had a bit of coaching to come to a decision about how to keep on top of my administration and keep that up to date. and that's working. So I think those are the main things.
Okay, right. So listen to what you're saying there. It sounds like having more time now compared to when you were doing your masters. Let's say having more time makes the whole thing around the backlog easier.
Yeah, and I think that's life, isn't it? That
Yeah.
Why do backlogs happen? Because we run out of time and we're doing other things.
So having that has helped. Also, focusing yourself on prioritising more has helped, and the coaching's helped with that.
Yeah.
Sounds like.
Yeah.
Great.
Definitely.
So, and you're at a 6 now. So that's you've already been making progress on this. And have you been higher than a 6?
I think if I think back, I've probably had moments when I've had a little rush on getting sorted and cleared and on top of things. So I might have got up to about an 8, but for shorter periods of time.
Okay. So that's important. So you have been higher. So you have been 8, and as you say, it's been for shorter periods of time. So how do you manage to do that then? How do you manage to get yourself to an 8?
Make myself do a lot of the clearing of the little admin tasks, the odd things that need doing, which I don't find particularly energising. So making myself do that. And also, and I have also had a bit of coaching sometimes as well to think about some similar sorts of things where, I've also sort of visualised my really clear and tidy office, and that I find quite motivating to say, well, this is what I'm working towards. So that I find it more motivating to hold in my mind a really clear and tidy office with not piles of stuff waiting to be done, than I find it motivating to think about the actual clearing through stuff.
Yeah, maybe you've answered me there, but I'm just interested then. What's different? My guess is from what you've told me is that sometimes you're able to get yourself up to that 8, and sometimes you're not. What's different about the times when you're able to do it?
Yeah, I think probably it's I don't have another pressing need because my work and my clients will be a priority. So I will always make clients a priority over lower, less urgent, less important bits of admin. But then what can happen is that those little less important things can sometimes suddenly become important because you haven't dealt with them. But I try to keep on top of that. But that means I'm always just doing this juggling. What's important, what's now moves to the top. Whereas if I just was a bit more systematic in just doing stuff, I wouldn't have to do all that juggling.
Okay. So you're saying there that what's different when you get yourself to an 8? Sounds like you've got more time again. Is
Maybe more time, but more focus. And another thing that I've just remembered works is when I pretend I'm somebody who's really organised, and I just pretend I'm somebody who's really organised and diligent, and then I will just have a bit of a blitz.
Okay. So that's important. There's a couple of things there that it sounds like, because I see your face lighting up when you're talking about them. That visualising the tidy office and pretending to yourself, I'm an organised person. Actually, the pretending actually makes it a reality.
Yes. Yeah.
Right. Yeah. Okay. So, and you said you're at a 6 at the moment. So how will you know? Well, let me check with you. Where would you like to be on that scale in 2 weeks' time?
If I could do it in 2 weeks, I'd like to be at a 9.
6 up to a 9. Great.
Yeah.
So, and how will you know when you're at a 9?
Because there will be certain things that will be no longer waiting to be done. And I could reel those off, but I know in my mind what they are.
You know what they are.
I can picture them. So like all my financial stuff will be totally up to date. All the piles of ad hoc paperwork that's not urgent but just hangs around will be dealt with and cleared. And there'll be things on the to-do list, but there'll be things that I have time planned in to deal with, so that will feel manageable. And I'll also be probably working on a few of the things that are nice to do but not urgent. Projects for next year that I'll have a bit of time to work on.
Okay, so let me just make sure I understand that right. So you'll know you're an I if there's certain things you're thinking about, the financial stuff, and the other one was admin stuff?
Yeah, ad hoc admin.
Ad hoc admin, yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Also, there's my CPD as well,
And CPD.
which has been hanging around waiting to be updated for pages. I'm working on that at the moment.
So you'd have those three done, and you mentioned that you'd have time slots set aside. Is it for those or for other things?
No, I'd have time set aside for the other things that are more important.
Oh, okay, for the sort of bigger priorities. Yeah. Okay, and then you'd also be you'd have done some of the nice to do stuff that's not urgent. Okay, so clear there about that's what 9 is going to look like in a couple of weeks' time. Okay, so what I want to ask you about then is over the next 2 weeks, what sort of things will you be doing that you aren't already doing? Because my guess is, you know, that's why we're talking about it, because you're not already doing it. What sort of things could you be doing over the next couple of weeks that's going to get you to that 9? Yeah,
I think I'll be finding time, making time, you know, creating the time, whatever you want to call it, to deal with the backlog and get up to date in the admin. So I probably would be saying to myself, putting it in the diary for the day, if I've got a day when I can do that, or days of the week when I can, if I'm out doing other things on other days. And maybe just trying to do something every day, because it's clearly I'm only going to get there if I do. Okay. So it's about making space and time to do that.
Okay. So, and those two things, just to check with you, there are two things that you're not doing at the moment. You're not putting in time in your diary for it, and you're not doing something every day. So these would be sort of new and different.
Well, I am, but I'm making progress at the moment, you see, so it's working.
Great.
Because I was probably at a 5 only a week ago.
Great. So you've already started on some of this.
So that's working. So it's continuing to do more of that will keep me moving towards my 9.
Okay. So continuing to do some every day and to put time in your diary to do that.
Yes, or it's not necessarily writing time in my diary, but knowing there's time in my in the day to do a little bit. And it might just be, if I've been out all day, just doing a little bit in an evening when I get home, just picking up a pile of stuff and saying, okay, I'll look at this and clear it. So bit by bit, it's being dealt with.
Okay. So having time in your diary, whether it's written there or not, and doing something every day. So what else could you do in the next couple of weeks that will help you get to that 9?
Well, I think maybe I do need to take if I can find a whole day in the next 2 weeks, to say that is a really big commitment to my backlog day, where particularly I can clear the paperwork, because that's one of the most de-energising things, is the pile of papers.
Okay.
If that was clear, then that would mean that as I clear it, I might have to do odd little things in order to be able to file it, throw it away, whatever. So that would be a big thing. To just, I'm going to spend a whole day. It doesn't fill me with huge appeal. I'd have to find a way of really treating myself or rewarding myself or enjoying it, putting some loud music on or something. But
okay, so that's really interesting. So you've already got ideas. It sounds like that's something that doesn't fill you with enthusiasm, but you've already got ideas about how you could make it more enjoyable for yourself.
But if I were to take that, and there's a possibility that when you talked about things that get in the way, if there's something a client needs, I may have to bump that day forward or back. But say, for example, next Wednesday, I know I've got a clear day at the moment. I could put that day
Okay.
down.
Okay. So having time in your diary, doing something every day, devoting a whole day over the next couple of weeks. What else could you do?
So we'll certainly keep up with the admin on a Monday morning idea.
Okay, you mentioned that earlier. Didn't you?
Yeah.
And when is that on Monday mornings? Does it vary, or is it a set time? Or?
Yeah, first thing in the morning, and that's to sort of update on the regular admin to make sure I'm up to date with invoicing or things like that.
And how long a period is that on a Monday?
Well, it depends what needs to be done, but maybe up to 2 hours, because that way I can
Okay. Great.
clear in last week's emails and all that sort of thing.
I'm sure if we talked longer, we could come up with a
yeah.
longer list of things you could do. But let me just check with you then. So you've got those 4 things there: having time in your diary, doing something every day, devoting the whole day, which is probably next Wednesday you're saying, and then having time on the Monday morning. How confident are you in thinking of each of the 4 that in 2 weeks' time you'll definitely have done those and it will get you to a 9?
About an 8, because I really want to get on top of it all.
So if we had a 1 to 10 about how confident you are, you'd put yourself at about an 8?
Yeah.
Okay. And what stops it being a 9 or a 10?
Because there could be work that comes in that I need to prioritise.
Okay. So that's kind of one obstacle.
That is an obstacle, and that would mean I would probably have to shift the day forward to sometime leading up to Christmas. But it was interesting because a thought occurred to me that when I was employed, I always used to use that time going in between Christmas when nobody else was in and nothing was happening to really get up to date and clear.
Yeah, absolutely.
And there's a possibility, there's a space around the Christmas period, but I'd rather get cleared before then.
Okay. So I think this is important that you're recognising that there could be some things come up that might make it difficult for you to achieve the goal.
Yeah.
So I guess my question for you is, bearing in mind that things could come up, what do you want to do about that? Do you want to change your goal to allow for it, or do you want to keep the same goal?
I think I've just got to keep that as a target.
Okay.
But as long as I keep doing a bit every day, I'm going to get there anyway.
So regardless if something comes in 2 weeks' time you're going to get to 9?
I just shift. If I know that I think I can.
Great.
Yeah, I think I can.
Great. And the key thing, it sounds like then from what you just said, is about doing some every day. And how confident are you you'll do that?
I'm going to do some today.
Great.
Yeah, I will.
Okay. And you mentioned at the beginning the thing of, well, you wanted to talk about the next couple of weeks, but then think of what's beyond that. So from our discussions so far, what's in there that has long-term value to you?
Well, I think I wouldn't want to go back to feeling weighed down by too much of a backlog. So if I can clear it, it will be very motivational for me to then know, keep on top of it, stick to my Monday mornings and keep that going. Okay.
Well, I was going to ask you what's the key thing to keep on top of it, but it sounds like you've answered me there.
Yeah.
So it's the Monday morning?
Yeah.
Anything else other than the Monday morning from the things you've mentioned that are going to be key to you keeping on top of it?
Well, maybe just being continually aware that if I need to plan in a bit extra time, it's being careful about how much time I'm putting in for what needs to be done, so that I'm not trying to squeeze too much into the time available, really.
Okay. So it's the Monday morning, and it sounds like maybe, I don't know if it's Monday morning when you would do this, but it's maybe about looking at the
plan for the week or the 2 weeks or something. Yes. Yeah.
Okay. And once again, that thing of ensuring there's the right amount of time in your diary to stop the backlog developing again.
Yeah.
Okay. So at the beginning, I asked you what you wanted from our discussion, and you said, I'd like to be full of energy and motivation and determination to get this backlog clear in the next 2 weeks. How have we done?
Very good.
Good.
Can't wait to start. See you.
Okay.
No, very good. Yeah, I do feel like I'm sort of itching to get going.
Okay. So I look forward to seeing you in 2 weeks' time then, when you can tell me all about it.
Yeah, I know you'll be asking me.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you.